Europe has been very successful for a number of reasons. One, there was a certain collective reckoning after World War II and the presence of very enlightened statesmen and the support of the United States all coming together at around the same time and helping to kickstart a process of very mild and primarily economic European integration among a few core countries. What that grew into the European Union of today, is a remarkable success story. There was always or has been a debate about whether Europe should be widening or deepening. And the fact is that Europe has done both. It has grown broader, and since 1991, it has grown by on average one country per year. It was 12, then 16, it's all the way up to 27, and may soon be 30 member states. So it's grown broader. It's also grown deeper. The density and depth of institutions that exist in Brussels, Luxembourg, Strasbourg, and elsewhere is absolutely unbelievable. The common currency and all of these sorts of developments, parliamentary-wise, judicially, and so forth, the existence of the European Commission, these things were not, it wasn't self-evident that these institutions would have grown the way they did in the 1950s, but they have. So it's been a remarkable success story, even if it were to stop today. Europe has common military forces, like a small rapid reaction force. It has 10 or so peacekeeping missions active right now, from Lebanon to the Congo. It has armies, of course, many. It has more troops under arms than America does, but not necessarily one large common army. It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to define itself by our terms. European armies can work together more and more, as they are doing, without ever forming one unified army under one flag. So I'm less concerned with whether or not they form one army than that they simply put their troops on the ground and their money where their sort of money where the mouth is on a variety of issues. That's one reason, and one primary reason why Europe is most definitely a superpower is that, first of all, economics is a lot more important today in calculating an empire's or superpower's level of power than it was in the past. And when it comes to economic size, Europe is larger than the United States. The European Union is the largest economy in the entire world. It is significantly larger than that of the United States. It has a larger population as well. Their product standards, safety standards, and so technical standards are far higher than that of the United States as well. So if you want to sell, if you're a manufacturer in China or Malaysia or whatever, and you want to sell a product in the world and you want to streamline and make it one way, well, you have to adapt to the European standard, not the American standard. So yes, absolutely. Their products obviously are superior when it comes to automobiles, engineering, and all that kind of thing. They don't have the sort of IT output that Silicon Valley has, but they have a number of competitors and they incorporate that technology quickly and spread it through their market as well. But that's just one aspect of economic power. The other aspects also involve their own externally directed investment. They export more capital around the world than we do. Europeans invest more money in China than America does. Europeans give way more foreign assistance and development assistance than America does. Japan ranks, I think, second to Europe, and then comes the United States in terms of foreign investment. So those are some other metrics by which Europe is economically more powerful and more important than the United States is around the world. Well, there are certain European countries that are experiencing population decline, of course, and Italy and Germany are among them. And by decline, one can also just mean a sort of plateau of the population. But because Europe as a union continues to grow, its population as a whole continues to grow. If by European population decline you mean the few Western European countries that have defined Europe to this day and who culturally we might prefer to think of as European, then yes, that absolute number may be declining. But if by European you mean a large number of new peoples migrating and becoming part or incorporated into the European empire, then the European population is 450 million, which is 150 million larger than the United States. So demographically, it's quite healthy. And you have to think about young populations like Turkey and Ukraine, 50 million in Ukraine and 70, 80 million in Turkey, that have Arab-like demographic profiles, very young populations. Of course, we don't think of them as European, but they think of themselves as European, and they are becoming European.